Welcome to our next episode of Way Out of Childhood Trauma. And today is here with me Lucia Petrusova, which is RTT therapist. But Lucia is just more than that. She is an amazing businesswoman, which she becoming one of the leading people and getting the high certification in Lean Six Sigma methodology. So she really achieved very high achievements in her business life and move from the Prague to Paris. So Lucia, tell me, like, what is your story? Why from business life, so productive and successful, you actually choose and become the therapist and working with people affected by trauma?
Hello, Barb, and hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. So why from this business environment I switched to being a therapist and being a coach? It is because I was a corporate coach for a very long time, and I find out that I'm not coaching people, because I was also a trainer, that I'm not teaching people or coaching them on a technical stuff. But I find out that I'm really coaching them and teaching them how to deal with issues, how to be themselves, their authentic self, whatever is happening in their life. And many of them, they succeed and they change a job position. They were promoted or they left company. Yes, because they achieve a higher salary raise. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really changing lives of these people. And I was really, really proud for everyone who left, okay? Because they find better job. And we created very nice friendships after. So I'm still with maybe 95% of the people I was working for Eastern Europe, Balkan, Russia. We kept in touch via social media. And I find out that I really have this talent to connect with people on a very deep level. And at a certain moment, I decided I just don't feel any fulfillment to teach something what was created by somebody else. I really want to do something like what is me, like this wisdom in me. So, and I started to study coaching. And then with the coaching, I was about to decide if I'm going to be ICF certified coach. And I decided I don't want to be, because the way how we were like forced to ask the questions or keep certain standard, I felt very limited. So I learned something very important about myself, that I cannot be put into the box. I'm not a surgeon, right? So I can be very creative in whatever I'm doing. And then I decided I want to do something like what can change people and help people very quickly within one session, 2 sessions. And then I found out rapid transformational therapy and I became a therapist. So I combine hypnotherapy with the coaching. And, you know, you are also the therapist. We can be and we should be intuitive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what was that kind of moment like when you felt that this is working, like I really can change things for people, but what did you change for yourself?
What did I change for myself? I changed a lot. I have to say that after 2 years, I really started to feel not even me better, but everything changed in my life. People around me changed. I was left alone. It was like a huge detox, because I needed new people to come into my life. And this is really very, very important, that once we change and we resolve our low emotions, our trauma, we change our behavior, we change our life. And so my most important thing, what I change, and I'm really very grateful for this, is that I'm fully free from PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. I was suffering from it since I started to have a period, maybe later, 70. When I was 17 years old, I noticed that I am super emotional. And it took me really 20 years until I started to study RTT. And I had this class with my colleague where we really resolved it within one session. So it was, and I didn't want to believe that, okay? So I waited maybe 4 to 6 months that, yeah, it's really gone. It's not anymore in my life. And yeah, I'm fully like free.
Yeah, isn't that not a lot of women, of course, know what PMDD is, and a lot of people suffer with that. Some people are not even diagnosed. They don't understand that, like, that they actually do suffer with that. They just kind of taking like having my days, and but how it does affected your life, how it did affected your life before, like what people would recognize the symptoms that they have PMDD, maybe even if they are not diagnosed officially.
So, so what are the most common symptoms? The symptom number 1 is anger. It's a huge anger. So we are triggered by almost everything. Then there are mood swings, irritability, even anxiety, suicidal thoughts. And also one of the symptoms, which I didn't know it was the symptom, I find out after, was that during these 2 weeks, I always wanted to break up with my partner.
Yeah.
So this is very, very difficult for relationship because it can even feel like you are abusing your partner. Yes,
Yeah.
but this emotional stage is so tough that you just don't know how to help yourself, like how to proceed your heavy emotion. So this life with PMDD is very difficult for friendships, for life in a couple, for professional life also, because whomever can trigger you. So it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, that has to be very hard for not all women, but especially women in professional positions, is it? When you need to kind of keep composure and have meetings and presentation, and being very irritable and angry for almost like no reasons. It's can really bother women in their business career and the progression of their careers, and can really struggle in relationships. So we already spoke here on a podcast about that anger as a trauma response, which not people recognizing that it's actually so. Would you agree with that anger of even in PMDD as trauma response?
Yes, absolutely. It is trauma response. With PMDD, what happened after my session, not only anger was resolved, but all other symptoms, even bloating, yes, because there is also bloating and there is insomnia and all other symptoms. So all other symptoms just disappear. So this was pretty fascinating because I thought, okay, I will need maybe other sessions. Yes, more sessions are necessary if someone, for example, is suffering also from depression. Yes.
Yeah.
So which PMDD can be very tough state. PMS, premenstrual syndrome, is like, I should not say that, but slightly lighter version, or maybe in some culture they know PMDD, in other cultures they know PMS. So absolutely, anger is a trauma response. And also in my case, in fact, I somehow absorbed anger of somebody else. So this is very fascinating how we as a young people, as a child, we can absorb this huge negative emotion of somebody else. And I remember that the therapist asked me during the session, so is this emotion yours? And I said, no, this is not my emotion. Okay, so we let it go. And this is how we let go of the anger.
Yeah. Yeah, the generational trauma, which many people still don't understand how she's working. It's not just about passing on that information, like the behavior which causing the trauma, but actually passing on that it's the trauma itself. The children are very open to emotions to coming, if it's during the pregnancy or when they are small children or up to teenage years, to actually taking on that emotions of their parents, if it's the fear or if it's the anger, or so that's really amazing to hear a story of that. Actually, when we're releasing it, it's how much is changing the life, isn't it? That your life changed very significantly with one session or few sessions to proceed to the change. So
just to maybe
before.
add one thing, what was
Mhm.
really for me like a super relieving was when I came out of hypnosis and I said to the therapist like, oh my God, nothing is wrong with me.
Mhm.
Because yes, women suffering from PMDD, they really think, and I was also thinking that I'm crazy.
Mhm.
Okay. And it was such an incredible relief coming out of the hypnosis. I said to myself, there is nothing wrong with me. In fact, it has been never my fault. I really just absorbed like a sponge this emotion of anger, and I was carrying it with me, living with this for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that a lot of people don't realize how much childhood trauma really affecting daily lives of people, and that is not just these traditional responses, flight and flight, because that's actually not what children can react, because children are not in the position to fight back or fly or run away. Is it so? They going to the responses of phone, like people pleasing or freeze, or just kind of surviving, is it survival mode? So would you recognize one of these responses in that you would be maybe more like hold yourself in some areas from something, or avoiding or doing what people like, or did you manage to avoid these responses during your life?
No, I was a people pleaser, but I didn't know that I am people pleaser. Yes,
Wow.
I was really like, yeah, it's not my style. I don't really like it. But why not? Let's go there. Let's do that. Yes. Even my marriage was like that, honestly.
Yeah, that's
I
affecting the
discovered
mood.
it after, after divorce. I was like, oh my gosh, I got married sometime, someone I would not absolutely marry now.
Mm. Yeah, point of view is really changing, is it, when we recover from trauma?
Yes,
Yeah.
we completely see people from a different lenses.
Mhm.
We are able to see, I really call it, and I'm telling clients, so what you see is just your trauma lenses.
Yeah.
You are just perceiving it from your level of consciousness where you are, and you live your life through these lenses. You are making decisions, you are choosing your partners, you are choosing your bosses, your
Mm.
friends.
So what do you would recommend to the women or other people suffering with the
PMDD.
physical manifestation of trauma, especially for women who suffer with PMDD? What you would recommend them to do?
In fact, what I would really like to empower women who are still waiting for some scientific research. Just don't wait for any research because this is really trauma trapped in your body. You
Yeah.
don't need any confirmation from a scientist. It's just like a regular case for a therapist to deal with the trauma, because this is
Mhm.
what PMDD is.
Mhm.
And because there is no medical help, right? PMDD cannot be even diagnosed with any blood sample.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only symptoms collection, and that's it. But behind there is really trauma. And I know that many women, they don't like word trauma. Okay, so let's call it that you are wounded, but something happened to you, like to everyone in a certain period of the life. And yeah, we can deal with this and just take a session or two. It depends on everyone's state, and you can be free of it and really live a life on your own terms.
Yeah, I find out that people often not recognizing what all trauma is, and I feel that trauma has to be some like big event or somebody who's in the war or somebody who's in the accident, but actually childhood trauma, it can be caused by unhappy parents. You know, if they suffer with trauma, if they are not managing their life and they are angry or they are sad, they are withdrawn or they are controlling, that all goes into trauma. And we have similar background growing up in oppression of freedom, and parents were very many parents was very unhappy in that time. So there is a kind of a lot of wounded nations, but also that is coming generations since first, second war, you know, when it's carry on that survival guilt or lack of opportunities, lack of food, you know, that also grieving, unprocessed bereavements of lost millions. So a lot of people actually passing on trauma, and sometimes people don't want to say that they suffer with trauma because they said my parents did their best what they could, but yeah, they had the outburst of anger or they suffer. And I want to say to people that it's not blame on parents. It's not about telling that they was bad parents. It's about understanding how you as a child reacted to their behavior. And we can have compassion and understanding for why they reacted then. Many of them grew up in own childhood trauma of grew up after war or even was born during the war. And so it's not passing blame. It's about just understanding what really happened during our own childhood, and we all have own different stories, and do something with that. It's important that it's not forever.
Yes, absolutely. It's like once we are grown up adults, it's our responsibility to find help and to heal ourselves, to be a good partner, to be a good friend, to be a good parent. My mom, she was like in the past saying like, you know, but me, I never went to the therapist. And I said, please do not tell it to anyone because I spent quite a lot of money on therapists. Or, you know, when I was in Slovakia and we were watching TV and my father asked me, they were speaking about mental health. And my father asked me, what is OCD? And I said, well, let me introduce you, mom, and all her siblings. So this behavior, what they're doing, cleaning all the time, this is OCD. So now it's like they are open to this. Yes, they are very interested in what I'm doing. I'm explaining. They know what is trauma. They know that there is a help for this. But yes, as you said, we both come from very, let's say, limited culture where going to even psychologists meant during communistic period that something is really, really wrong with you if you need that type of help. So, but now also, you know, in media and media speak about mental health. There are podcasts dedicated to mental health. So it's going better.
Yeah, it's what we try on our podcast. Really give that hope, because a lot of people still believe that, you know, that cannot be helped, that is forever. And it's this collection of stories of those people who saw that on themselves, but also on their clients or their friends, are really important, because that change in society, it's moving. But if you will, for example, look at you and explain or give example people like how you would apply it to the business setting, like if there are the women which suffer with PMDD, how is affecting productivity and effectiveness in the company, why it's important to support this recovery, and why I also personally think that businesses should more invest to therapies for women.
Absolutely. Imagine that women with PMDD, they suffer the half of their cycle, which is 14 days, some of them even more. They are really under these heavy emotions. It means that they turn into the version which is completely different than they are. So you cannot really focus on your work when you are angry, yes, when you are like easily irritated. So you cannot do properly your business. So it's like 50% at minimum, 50% of your time is just you are dealing with your emotions. This is it. And it doesn't matter if a person is a businesswoman or, I don't know, working in the shop. Yes, because this is also very difficult. Same for women who are suffering from painful periods. Exactly the same thing. Having a painful period is not a normal, natural thing because our cycle is really peaceful. It is really just, there is only discomfort, but no pain. So painful periods also, we are not able to work. Yes, women who are suffering from this, they are not able to work for 3-4 days. It depends, and they need to take a medication. But again, painful period are suppressed emotions. And again, one of the parent was abusive, yes, with a narcissistic disorder, or they are under any type of abuse at the workplace. They are in the toxic place, or they are in the toxic relationship or friendship. So this is the history and the root cause of why they are having painful period is there. So this is also very important that, yeah, it's not only PMDD, but I would say also like our feminine cycle is not what women think that it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see it like we can see it also almost statistic when we compare the different nations, like where in the nations where the women rights and position in society is very oppressed, and they are more attacked, for example, sexually or physically, there is actually higher percentage of really painful periods or PMDD, because that's about that attack on femininity. Yeah? And related to it also, it's menopause and how we going through that, because it's all about the relationship, what it's me as women. As woman, what is me in society? Can I be free? Can I be myself? Is it like, or has to be people pleaser, has to adapt, or have to fight for my position in society? So like all these things related to period, if it's before, during, or when it's ending, are related to our settings, to our emotional settings, to our belief settings, and how we work with that. So if you would, if somebody would say that they cannot afford, for example, therapy, and some women don't because they are in maybe in this moment coercive relationships, and they don't have that financial freedom to do that, what would be some tip for them to how they can start working on that? What you would recommend them?
In fact, there are also a lot of resources online. Yes, it can be some exercise. It can be yoga nidra is really great to calm down and to connect with your body. Yoga nidra is really, really great. So they can start with, there is a lot of free help now on social media. What I would love to also say that if they don't have resources, you can, there are plenty of therapists who are offering a session for discounted price. Yes, or they even do some free sessions for students, for example. But if you are ready, the teacher will appear. It's always like that. And then, in fact, it's the best investment is always in ourselves. So imagine if a woman is 30 years old with a PMDD, so she's going to make it for additional 30 years, yes, or maybe 25, living in, like with all these trapped emotions and not living a life, but really surviving.
Yeah.
So if you make a calculation, then it's not expensive, and sometimes you really need a one session to resolve all these issues.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, and it's really important for people to understand that trauma is stored in the body, but doesn't mean that it has to stay there. It's just provisional storage, and actually all these activities, all these symptoms, it's how the mind trying to get rid of it and trying to release it from the body in some way, is it? So when we give the mind the chance to do that in safe environment of the, for example, a rapid transformational therapy is going very quickly, and mind is very happy to do that because it's kind of reaction like, yippee, we find a way which will be much easier and quicker. Let's do it. We don't want these emotions here because it's how mind works. It's don't want to store this old emotion. It's very tiring. It's very time consuming. It's why very often causing also the brain fog and unfocusedness because the mind is trying to hold it. So how would you say that your life is now without PMDD?
Oh my God!
Motivate the woman.
Yeah, it's like I remember still this feeling. It was like after session, and then when I was waiting, I was after ovulation, so I was waiting. Okay, so when I will, switch into my crazy version. I'm saying that because I can. You see, I'm telling also everyone, yeah, this is your crazy version, right? In fact, it felt like there was an empty space in me, in my body. And it was a space only for me to decide what I'm going to do with this space, with what emotion I'm going to fill this space, because there was no anger, there was no bloating, there was no irritability. So I really felt like, okay, this is something what I have never experienced in my life. Me in my body, but very different. It felt like it's me, but there is something new, unknown, totally unknown. And it was such a really fantastic feeling. So, and since that time, my life changed completely. Like, as I said, all my friends I had, they left. Within a year, it was really like a detox because of this because I was in the low vibrational level, I can say, with all these heavy emotions. So I was attracting different people than I'm attracting right now. I started my business. Yes, I was like, okay, this is really, I knew what I want to do even more. Before I knew, okay, my calling is I want to do this. But after that, everything became much more clearer. So I got the clarity, inspiration. For me, it was just incredible that I can work whole month. I don't work only 3 days when I have period because I'm tired, and it's very normal for us. So we don't work out, we do nothing, just we are resting. But I was like, this is just fantastic. I can work all month long. And this is really, really just, I gain a lot of time. So I'm much more productive, I'm calm, I'm much more calmer. And yeah, I also attract completely different type of people.
Yeah, how change your relationships?
My relationships, I'm not the fighter. Yes, but I'm not people pleaser. This is also what really left my body and my mind. That I'm very quickly, I'm very clearly expressing myself, and I'm expressing my needs. And then I know when anger appears, when I'm angry, I know that my values were violated, and I know this is healthy anger, which is in there. So yeah.
Yeah, it's about that, is it? Because we all need all our emotions to cope as people, because we often have that anger as a vision of aggression, something when we are afraid, because as children, when anger coming from outside, especially when we don't know why, it's creating that fear in us. But anger is very useful. Anger telling us when our boundaries was violated, so we need it. So, but when we people pleasing, we suppressing it, and then we outbursting it somewhere. Is it like so? So it's kind of this balance. So when we can work with all of our emotions, our intuition working, and so that's a great result of recovery from trauma. So let's see, if somebody want to work with you, what do you offer, or how are you working with people?
So I offer, of course, I'm helping women with the PMDD, PMS, and with the painful periods.
Mhm.
Also, I'm working with adults, yes, which means plus 16 years old, with men, with a woman. I'm helping them with anxiety. I'm also working with the victims of toxic relationships, narcissistic abuse. So for this, I have 3 months cooperation, and I'm not selling single session because there really we need to work on it. And 3 months, it works really, really great. And then I'm also working with entrepreneurs, and I'm working in a way that I'm connecting them to their true self. Yes, so it's not teaching about mechanically how you need to post and everything like that, but it's really connecting them to their wisdom. So, and this is very important to, I would say, dissolve all structures and blueprint from personal self. Yes, we created in the past, and to connect to our true self, because this is what is very important. Once we are creating, we need to bring something through us, right? on the earth. So I'm really focusing on authenticity.
I always saying that our only task on the universe gave us to be ourselves.
Yes.
and
And we need to find out who we truly are,
yeah.
because we were so damaged.
Yeah, that we play so many roles and putting so many faces on and stuff like that. And then when we recover from trauma, we are present. We are present in the moment. We are ourselves, and we can finally discover who we are. I mean, I did discover it myself, like, who I am really, and change my life. So, it's really about that, isn't it? And that's an amazing feeling to watching it in the clients, watching it in people, like how they kind of start flourishing when they become themselves, and how amazing people are, and from people who did suffer, and even physically and in pain, and emotionally, and they becoming themselves and authentic, and they always have so much to offer to the world, is it? So it's why I love to be therapist.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like when someone say, I don't know what I should do. I don't know what is my purpose. And I'm saying, yeah, but you don't need to know. Only your mind needs to know. So you have to get outside of your mind and to really connect to your true being. But this, you can connect to your true being, but first you have to, clear yourself up from all the structures and from the past experience, which were traumatic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's trauma recovery journey.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, if somebody will want to contact you, what is the best way to find you or contact you? I will, of course, put the links to the description of episode. But what is
My website is
website?
the best. Yeah, my website, and then there is also email, or through Facebook or Instagram, but through the website is the
What is your
fastest way.
website name?
It's www.luciapetrusova.com.
Okay, so if you like Lucia, I would recommend everybody who wants to work on themselves, and especially women with PMDD, and want to really change their life and get the time back, and to feel better, and change their relationship with their partners and with their children, and gain a success in their workplace. Contact Lucia, and get help. And as you heard, it doesn't take long. It can be 1 to 3 months, and you can be free of it. Yeah? So important is to believe that it's possible, and then it can be done. Yeah. So I will of course leave the contact for Lucia in the description of episode that you can find there. So Lucia, what will be your closure advice, or what do you want to tell our listeners in closure words?
My advice would be that there is a help. Help exists and can be very fast. So we don't really need to spend time, months on a therapy, especially on a talking therapy, because I truly believe that the only way to resolve our stuck emotions is hypnotherapy. For me, this is the most powerful technique which exists, and everyone should have this experience.
Thank you. I agree with that, because we cannot talk out something which is stored in the body. I tried and it's not working for people. So, and I think that if you will go and try, you will be really surprised how it's working. And that is millions of people already who went through hypnotherapy. So don't be afraid of it. It's nothing scary. It's actually very pleasant. And so thank you, Lucia, for being on our podcast, and see everybody else in the next episode.
Thank you so much, Barb, for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome.